Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this episode of Wrestle Talk with Bear and BDuB. On this edition of BDuB Thoughts. Now, WrestleMania 8. A lot of people are saying they dropped the ball on this one. This is one where it should have been Hogan Flair, and which would have easily been probably a biggest sellout crowd ever. Now, this was at the Indianapolis Hoosier Dome. I thought this was a good WrestleMania. Um, it was definitely star-studded event. Filled. A lot of people don't think so, but I didn't think it was a bad WrestleMania. But it could have been better. It was one of my favorites, but from an overall standpoint, it still could have been better. This was Shawn Michaels' first WrestleMania in singles competition. I thought him and El Mantador, who was Tito Santana, thought they had a good, solid match. Shawn Michaels really showed he was a good performer by himself. Jake the Snake and The Undertaker. This is The Undertaker's second WrestleMania. Um, you know, him and Jake really, they really work well together. Jake the Snake, it was a good promo leading into the match. Jake the Snake closing his hand in the coffin. And, Undertaker got his revenge with the tombstone on the floor. Um, Piper and Bret Hart for the IC title. I like the promo leading before the match. Piper's talking about how he watched Bret grow up, and Helen Hart fixed the sandwiches, and they fake pretend to punch each other, and then finally they go out there and they have perhaps one of the best matches, if not the best match on the card. I thought the guy from Family Feud, him being on there, and he went over there and started talking trash about the then when they had the Mountie, the Repo Man, the Nasty Boys versus Sergeant Slaughter, Big Boss Man, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and Virgil. He started talking bad about the heels in that one. Thought that was pretty cool. Um, then you had this is the first time the title wasn't the main event. Where you had WWE Champion Ric Flair defending against Macho Man. Macho Man, going into the match, you had Ric Flair talking about Elizabeth and how he had the pictures of her. This was very interesting. And then you see all this, and then finally Macho Man, Macho Man gets the victory with holding the tights. And I just thought this was very interesting because I'm like, well, where's the elbow drop? But nonetheless, then at the end, Macho Man goes, "Take this. This is yours." And so that was funny how he got rid of that. This is when Owen Hart was the Rocket. He's the Rocket Owen Hart taking on Skinner. And that was just a match to hold over till we got the Hogan and Justice, which I read. I'm not sure if it's true. I read a lot of stuff talking about there was a lot of mishaps in this one. Sid Justice he was getting suspended or something. So he kicked out of the leg drop when he wasn't supposed to. And that's when all, Ultimate Warrior, Papa Shango came out to disrupt the match. I just thought that, bottom line is, well, first of all, Flair and Savage should have been last in this one. It was for the title, and this is when WrestleMania was pretty much centered around Hulk Hogan. Every match, every WrestleMania up until the next one, he was featured as the last match. So this is when WrestleMania was centered around Hulk Hogan. But nonetheless, like I said, WWE dropped the ball. You had something. You had Ric Flair win the title. You announced Hogan as the the number one contender. They should have left it that way, and I'm pretty sure Vince regrets it. Nonetheless, I want to know what's your thoughts on WrestleMania 8. I thought it was pretty good. I remember this WrestleMania. I remember watching it, and I remember watching this one over and over again. By now, I'm like 7, 8 years, 6 years old, so I kind of remember this WrestleMania. But Nonetheless, thank you for joining us on this episode of Wrestle Talk with Bear and BDuB. On this episode of BDuB Starts. And be sure you tune in. I know who will be tuning in. That's one of my good friend, my good fan, Cameron G. WrestleMania 9 is next, buddy. I know that's your favorite also.